Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a Kafka listener by me. So let's get into it. The soft hum of chatter filled the air as the stellar hunters gathered in the dimly lit lounge. You sat comfortably on one of the plush sofas, a drink in your hand, and a faint smile on your lips, as you exchanged stories with Blade and Silverwolf. It was one of those rare moments when the group could relax, the usual tension replaced by a semblance of camaraderie. You were mid-laugh when you felt a familiar presence behind you. Kafka. Her perfume, a mix of lavender and something darker, reached you first, followed by the soft sound of her heels against the floor. You turned your head just in time to catch her crimson eyes narrowing slightly as they flicked between you and Blade. Enjoying yourself? Kafka asked, her voice smooth and laced with something you couldn't quite place. Yeah, but it's nice to unwind for once, you replied, your smile softening as you met her gaze, and your lips curved into a faint smile, although you could tell it did not quite reach her eyes. Instead of joining the conversation, she stepped closer, her gloved hand resting lightly on your shoulder. I couldn't help but notice you're quite popular tonight, she remarked, her tone casual, but with an unmistakable edge. And Silverwolf raised an eyebrow, glancing between you and Kafka. Jealous much? She asked, her voice seizing, and Kafka's smirk widened, though there was a glint of warning in her eyes as she looked at Silverwolf. Not at all. I just like to remind people where they stand. You opened your mouth to respond, but then Kafka leaned down, her hand sliding from your shoulder to your chin, as she tilted your face up toward hers. Her eyes locked onto yours for a moment, and then, without warning, she pressed her lips to yours, and the lounge fell silent. Her kiss was deliberate, possessive, and unhurried, as though she was staking her claim in front of everyone. Her free hand rested against the side of your neck, holding you firmly, but not unkindly. You felt your cheeks heat as the realization of the scene you were making sank in. And to be quite honest, you couldn't bring yourself to pull away. When she finally broke the kiss, her eyes flicked to the others, her smirk now fully formed. Just making sure no one forgets, she said lightly, so her voice carried a dangerous undertone. And Blade just laughed. He really was not going to indulge her, not that he cared much about all of this. Silverwolf, on the other hand, just rolled her eyes, her focus already returning to her handheld device. You could have just said something, Kafka. No need to make a spectacle. And where is the fun in that? Kafka replied smoothly, her hand slipping down to rest on your shoulder again. She turned her attention right back to you, her smirk softening into something more genuine. You're awfully quiet, darling. Cat got your tongue? Kafka, what was that? Her eyes sparkled with amusement as she tilted her head slightly. A reminder. You've been getting too much attention tonight. It's only fair of me to want to remind others who you truly belong to. Kafka, you said, your voice low as you tried to keep your embarrassment in check. You didn't have to. Didn't I? You're mine, Ion. Let them know it. She interrupted, and your heart raced at her words, and you couldn't help but glance at the others, who had already resumed their own conversations, seemingly unfazed by Kafka's display. And you saw it. Turning back to her, you didn't have to kiss me in front of everyone. She chuckled softly, brushing a strand of hair from your face. Would you prefer I save it for when we're alone? Because I can do that too, but sometimes it's good to just have a reminder. That's all. You huffed, your cheeks still warm. I think that you got the message loud and clear. That's good to know. I'd hate to have to repeat myself. She said, her tone light as she straightened up, her hand lingering on your shoulder for a moment, before she stepped back, her eyes still locked on yours. And you rolled your eyes, though you couldn't help the small smile that was tugging at your lips. You know, Kafka, you can be quite impossible at times. And yet you love me for it. Isn't that the truth? And you couldn't help but know that she was right. And as she winked at you, she turned around to retrieve a drink from the bar. And as the evening continued, the tension from her display faded, replaced by the usual friendly banter and laughter among the group. But every now and then, you would catch Kafka's gaze from across the room, her eyes softening whenever they met yours. Her possessiveness may be overwhelming at times, but it was also a part of her that was so undeniably Kafka, and you couldn't really be upset with that. And as much as you hated to admit it, you didn't mind being hers. Not one bit. Especially not when she was yours in the same way. You would have each other until the very end.